This is AV SuperFriends Off the Rails, an almost regularly scheduled open discussion on audio and video in higher education. We'll sound off about our most brilliant ideas, our dumbest mistakes, and everything in between. And because this conversation will almost certainly go off the rails at some point, we'll end up covering just about everything else. And now, the AV SuperFriends. For February 9th, 2024, it's the best-sounding podcast in higher ed. This is the AV SuperFriends Off the Rails, broadcasting live to tape from coast to coast, easternmost to westernmost, northernmost to southernmost, gate post to hitching post. I'm your local host who can boast the most milquetoast and utmost humility. I'm Chris Dector, and it's time for another Friday afternoon podcast adventure. And let's say hello to today's panel of AV SuperFriends. And I'm going to do something different here. I have not prepped anybody for this.
No. Wait, what?
Hold on to your butts.
Oh boy, here we go.
There it goes. Panelist number one is a dynamic usability supervisor from Kansas City. Let's say hello to Jamie Reinhardt.
I like long walks on the beach.
Panelist number two is a future quality synergist from Corvallis, Oregon, Marc Kolowazinski.
I like dry red wines.
I broke my music, sorry. Panelist number three is a direct assurance orchestrator, good Lord, from Greensboro, North Carolina. Let's give a warm welcome to Larry Darling.
Hello, everyone.
I wear velvet.
And panelist number four is a corporate optimization associate from Bowling Green, Kentucky. Everyone say hello to Justin Rexing.
Associate? I got demoted again.
You and your demotions.
I was a VP on the last episode.
It's a fine line, man.
That, my
Focused on the
friend,
titles.
was fun. That was a good little thing.
Yeah, I like that.
We'll
So
do
on
that
today's
more
show,
often.
we're going to
We need
discuss
do that.
just how the heck we build our classrooms. Nope, wait.
We're not.
Hold on.
Bad habit. We're going to discuss how we stratify and organize our AV-enabled spaces. Is that better?
I don't even know what
More
stratify
comfortable with that
means.
one?
Our menu. How do we put together a menu?
Okay.
And we're going to talk a little bit about some upcoming stuff that we've got going on. A teaser for that. But first, you've been waiting for it all week. Let's do the news. And today's news comes from the AV Network, or whatever the heck they are, which is part of that massive conglomerate of like 27,000 publications and websites, and I'm pretty sure they're going to own us soon enough. Link in the show notes.
Just
probably
We're
do.
getting bought out? We're getting bought out? Really?
I don't think they're going to buy
It's
us
a
up
hostile
since-
takeover.
I think they'll
We
just
sold out a long time ago.
They'll just
Buying out all
own
the
our
shares.
own the website. So,
It'll be the cease and desist letter from the lawyer here in a minute.
but this one's titled ISE 2024. 3 trends that will extend to InfoComm. And this the title, hey, so good job to Marc Pescatori on the title because it caught my eye of like, oh, let's see what sort of trends are going to continue.
But only till InfoComm.
Only
And
till
thank
InfoComm,
God
then
they
they
will
stop.
go away after that.
Yes,
And
no
the 3 that he brought up are transparent displays, transparent signage. He brought up the room scheduling, or no, I'm sorry, desk scheduling, hot desking sort of thing. And then the way it's phrased here is emphasis on ecosystem. What he means is cloud-based, let's say platform agnostic monitoring systems. Is that a fair way to phrase kind of what he's talking
That
about?
makes it sound way better than
the
it might be.
platforms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Platform, yeah.
So anyway,
systems.
what do you guys think about this? So let's go one by one. So the first one was transparent OLED, transparent LED, transparent LCD.
Is it 2010?
Thank you.
great. What are we?
Yeah. They were really cool the first 8 times I saw them.
What additional utility do I get out of this?
Fish tanks.
You get to see through your display at the back wall where the electrical outlet is, probably.
I need to just see the stuff that's on my display. I hopefully cannot see through that.
Whatever happened to blacks being beautiful? Like all the blacks on your TV, now you don't have any, it's just clear?
I'm
Isn't
not going to touch this
clear-
topic.
Isn't that what, I mean, seriously.
Yes, you're right.
Used to
You're
be,
Like,
yeah.
isn't
definitely
the
right.
clear replacing the blacks on the TV?
I don't. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I honestly.
Yes.
As
Isn't
like
that what it is?
as heads up
Yeah,
technology, I guess.
There's going to be clear levels now that we're going to have to
Yeah, is your-
calibrate for.
how
Like,
clear
that's what
is
I'm
your
saying.
clear level?
Calibration of clear. Sorry.
I don't know.
This is crystal clear level 1.
I don't know if that's. How does it produce black if someone has like a black in their
it
eye or
doesn't.
something?
Yeah.
So
I
just
find
you
that
see
it's-
through
I don't
it,
know.
and it's.
It's got its place in this world, but really,
Retail.
this is a
I
trend.
mean, I'll be honest. Every time I've seen one, it's just like arbitrary graphics. I've never seen a motion video of like a movie And now it's like, what is this used
It's
for?
not
Right?
meant for movies.
Here's where I can stretch it, and you guys can say I'm full of shit because Chris, this is right up your alley now.
Yeah.
You're
This
full
will
of shit.
give you. They'll
I
give
know where
you.
you're
You
going.
could force this AR VR thing with this type of technology. Put this in front of something and do the overlay
Ooh, so
on
I
there.
can
That way
carry
we can
around
all
a
go to Spain
43-inch
together.
panel,
Yes.
and I can walk around looking through it.
Yes, like
I'm gonna bet that Safelite doesn't have the windshield replacement for this.
right. But for that way you don't have to have your goggles on and this in your Tesla as you're driving it. You can just have this as the heads-up thing and be able to do all your social media while you're driving.
I mean, it is getting better. Like
Talking about
it
you,
was
Cam.
at InfoComm last year, and the demos that they had were more impressive than they have had the previous 7 or 8 years. But at the end of the day, it's a niche product for retail spaces.
Yeah.
So no pun intended on niche products. I have seen this in the wild about 10 years ago at a museum where they built a niche into the wall and they mounted the display in front. They took the back off. It used the diffuser. So it was lighting. It was a...
It was a big diorama.
Yes, it was. It was diorama. It was showing some sort of overlay on like a map or something like that. I don't even honestly remember what it was showing because I was so distracted by the actual use case of it. But it was cool because the biggest issue you have with these is, Justin, to your point about like, what about the stuff behind it? What about the darker colors, the clears? How do we make that usable so we can extract content or make sure that content is visible, but at the same time the the ability to see through the translucence. It's not transparent, but the translucence is still there. And you can do this right now. Go grab the laptop that everyone's looking at right now, snap it in half,
Rip the back off.
rip the back off, and you can see through the LCD. LCDs are not, they're translucent
Well, it's
already. The
glass.
challenge is how do I make, it's not glass, it's plastic. But how
glass
do I
in the
make
front.
that, how do I make that, that balance between translucence to see through, but bright enough for it to actually show images? And that's the real challenge, is that contrast ratio between the darkest part or the clearest part and the brightest part for content. So this is not a new thing. And Jamie, I think you just said it. It gets better, slightly better every year we see this, but it's not something that's
I
blowing
went
our
up to
minds.
a showroom in Portland recently, and they had this, the big manufacturer, and they're like, they didn't want to even talk about it. They're like, and we have that thing over there if you're really interested in that. And it was like, they didn't care. Right? It's not even new to them. They're like, whatever. You're not gonna have a need for this, but if you ever did, we have it.
Well, it's like the hologram systems that people keep talking about. Oh, it's a hologram. You can see it. No, that's Pepper's Ghost from the 1890s. And you could do it right now. Take an 80-inch panel, rotate it to portrait, take the back off, put a appropriate lighting in a box behind it, and you just created the hologram system, because that's how they're doing it. It's that simple. It's a nice package they put together, but it's nothing that's like, they've not created a new technology.
You're telling me you're not doing that in every one of your classrooms?
I didn't say I'm not doing that in everyone's classrooms.
It's the future of a high flex classroom.
Yeah, I want to be in class. I'm going to stand there. I'm going to hire 2 students to push the thing around while someone's standing in there, talking. So
Instructors were complaining that the students weren't there, and so I have those in every student's seat. That way, wherever the
you
students
flipped it. I
are,
love it. I love
looks
that.
like they're there.
Yeah,
Cost effective too.
what do you call that? Together mode or something?
Yeah.
Together mode.
Cool, fun, not a trend. Next.
All right.
Well, it's been a trend. I'll argue it's been a trend for years because it's still sort of trending.
Next.
It's been trendy,
Okay,
but
I tried to put a positive spin on it.
I'm with you, Justin. We're trying to sell these things, man. We got to
I'm
get these
trying
things
to-
out the door.
no,
We've
we're not.
stocked up on them. Let's get them out there.
all right. So the next one that was brought up in the article is the year of the hot desk, or hot desking. This like ability to have these mini scheduling panels to, hey,
I thought
it's
it was
1
just
o'clock.
a calendar you were talking about.
Get off my desk, sort of thing. So it's very strange. But I don't. Yes, what was it? I think Biamp bought somebody. Crestron has a little system for doing this.
You know
I don't
why
care.
Biamp bought that company? Because it was not succeeding and it was available. Not because Evoco's panels were the best ever and it was a new trend. It's because they were...
And I don't think we can appropriately talk about hot desking without a little bit of background.
Yeah, we got to set the tone here.
Now, I got
All
introduced
right.
to
Now
hot
we can
desking
talk.
here this past year. I could tell my little story about
Yeah,
hot
yeah,
desking
let's
if you
hear it.
want.
Justin
So I get
enjoys the
we
hot
get a
desk.
project request.
You need to
where
slow down your tone
Oh,
and
we
get
gotta
a little
dial it
deeper.
back.
project
Lean into
request.
that mic.
Project
Get into
request.
it.
Get into it.
There it is.
Yeah, baby. Oh, look at that hot desk. Oh my.
So your
So
hot
you got
desk
a hot
experience,
desk.
tell me.
We got a call and we said, hey, there's a lot of hot desks out at South Campus. It's like, what's a hot desk? So we go out there and apparently Dell had skedaddled on their help support center, the little call center that they had out there for a while. And I guess one of the university people said, you know what? I'm going to use this big acreage space for hot desking. So we go out there and we start talking about QR codes to schedule things and to do things, and it starts to make sense.
Use your camera phone.
And then every time I go out there, there's like 3 people sitting at this 400 desk farm. Like, what's going on here? This is kind of awkward.
Did they have panels
telling
if the desks were available?
No, they wanted us to come up with something. And so here's the kicker.
Lights?
Come up with what?
So everything to come up with ability to schedule an individual desk for private and small businesses around in the community, and they would pay to lease that space per day. I don't know, like, hey, there's a Chick-fil-A right there. Maybe I'll, rent this desk so I can get quick Chick-fil-A and then come back. I don't know. I don't know exactly why.
That's not a desk, Justin. That's a hot desk.
That's a hot chicken desk. So we put all the pricing together, and come to find out,
chicken, isn't it?
all of the stuff that we built on the back end with the database people and the AV people and the networking people, it was like a lot of people
involved. I love all these
with
different
this shit.
types of people you have.
Yeah, we got all kinds of people. And we presented the solution to them, and the client goes, whoa, wait, what? What? I need to be able to schedule these in 10-minute increments. We're like, well, Outlook doesn't do that. That does like 30. I don't know the exact numbers.
Yeah, it's like
but that's
15s.
what killed the project.
Yeah.
And that farm, that desk farm's still out there. And every time I go out there, there's 3 or 4 people sitting at 3 or 4 desks out of about 400. It's wild.
Again, I think this is. I mean, we've seen this like Crestron's thing. Extra. Everybody's got one.
Everybody's
now,
got them. Yeah. They're all out there.
And consultants are out there. I just had an argument with one the other, a discussion. It really wasn't an argument. It was a discussion the other day.
It was a fight. You got to fight. Yeah.
Because they wanted the room scheduling panels, and we go, but nobody uses them, and nobody wants to take care of the back end. Mm-hmm. If it's open, it's a wall of windows, man. You walk by, it's open. Go in.
Yeah. Do you see somebody in there? No. Then it's available.
And I asked, I asked the people, the client.
But they got to schedule it from their house.
Yeah, but is it going to police it? Is it going to kick somebody out of the fucking desk if they're there? Because if it's not going to do that, then I don't want it. Yeah.
I said, how often
does it shut off the internet?
They schedule it in person, right? They have to walk up there and schedule it in person. And I go, how often? What's your capacity? Oh, we barely ever use 3 or 4 at a time. We've got 50.
This is like when you're on the big empty airplane. There's only 2 people on it, and the guy sits right next to you. You're like, dude,
you have to
sit wherever you can sit wherever you want.
No, you can't, Mark. They're assigned seats. You
right.
have to sit. What
Go
your
sit
ticket
over there.
says.
Well,
this ain't Southwest, bro.
In the name of the article, it's like, yeah, this is a trend that we're never going to hear enough about between now and June, and I hope to God next year it's gone.
It won't be.
People love it. There's more that's coming out. We're going to see a wave of this crash.
Is popular in certain bigger cities, and it's coming to like rural America and like random ass cities that it doesn't make sense. Like there's no people in Bowling Green that need that many offices day to day. I don't think
there is a use case for it. I guess I'm not one of those.
It's getting saturated
being
quick.
A negator.
I don't see the scheduling. I mean, guess what I could also do this with? A QR code.
Well, that's what we were trying to do.
Right on the desktop. If you really want to have a calendar, which nobody cares about anywhere, go for it. Put a calendar.
You have to schedule it and book it, because if there's 1,000 people trying to book that office, I mean, it's first come first serve, and we got to account for 1,000 people wanting our office.
But
space.
I mean, but let's unpack that for a minute. We're going to take longer than we need to on this. If you have 1,000 people trying to come into your space, you probably don't have the right space.
They're dreamers.
Right? And so if they need a desk to do their work, and that is a function of their job, have enough space to do what your employees need. Come on. Like, what are we doing? Like,
it costs too much money.
I mean, if you're trying to build the Airbnb of like desk space and rent them out on a giant cube farm and see, like you said, Justin,
what it is.
Go nuts. But I think for the most part, I look in the room. Is it available? I'll use it.
You know what really I think is going on? Holy shit. What are we going to do with all this space? I don't know. Cube farm it. We'll figure it out later.
Invest in it so we can write it off. Put some expense towards it so we can get rid of it.
I mean, when somebody has that much space, you got to do something with it. And I think that's what happened in my case.
Space. It's the
You know,
final
Dell
frontier.
left.
Let's
all
carve
the
it up
desks
and,
are there.
and give it calendars.
These are really nice desks. Everything's cabled. They just have to turn the switch and have a solution to manage it. But I don't think we have the population for it.
Either way, trend number 2 is kind of a fail.
Thank God it's over at InfoComm. Okay.
Yep.
Next one.
All right, so the final trend is, but yeah, the hot desking thing is terrible. The final one, and it's phrased here as emphasis on ecosystem, and I think I'll give him 25% of the credit. He's on to the right broader topic, but he missed the point here. So the article talks specifically about how manufacturers are trying to like all build their own little kind of cloud-hosted little monitoring system. And we've all had central consoles for years. They're all usually on-prem because of security. But now they don't want that because if they put it in the cloud, they can charge you per month or whatever that is.
As a service.
As a service called, making money. It's what the service is.
And security officers all over shutting us down since yesterday.
Well, and I think... I think Crestron just renamed theirs officially. So what used to be, it was RoomView, now it's Fusion, and now it's just this. So I don't know how to spell that. It's going to be harder to find.
It's kind of like the artist formerly known as Prince.
Yes, it's the product formerly known as Fusion. Anyway, but all of these are coming up with their ones that kind of like, yes, it works with their stuff. And they make vague threats that it can monitor other people's stuff. And what they mean by that usually, and this is where they all miss the point, is, well, it can monitor like a generic room system. So if you have a bunch of Teams rooms, Zooms rooms, whatever, it can monitor those because those have a common API and they report back to kind of like a central like Zoom or Teams, whatever thing is called.
You mean they already have a management system?
But they themselves are ignorant of all the other stuff in the room.
And that's exactly the point, is I like where these are going, and we're seeing increasing trends. So where's the one from Liberty, which I can't remember the name of, called CX
Detect.
CX Detect. There's the what's the other one? Unilever, Unizen, Unibrow. I don't know, Mark, you'll know that. You talked to them, the guys who do what's it called?
The sister part, the AI piece of that?
No, the monitoring system that I can't remember the name of.
Oh, yeah, the CX Detect was the first part. That's
not that. A different company.
Who's on
That
first?
one, Utelligy.
Not Utelligy. Oh, Utelligy.
I was close. Give me 10% for Unilever. And then Kramer just announced another one with a inscrutable name.
Pontaray, yeah.
Which is, sorry, Kramer, that's the worst name since Panja. So fix it.
But it's close to Panja.
I guess starts with PAN. So maybe they can.
It's very Apple-esque, and they're like.
I'm sure it means something, and there's a whole like.
I'm sure there is,
theme behind it. Oh, it's the whatever.
Chris, you just crushed someone's marketing dreams right there.
That person should have had their dreams crushed by their boss. So
man.
Anyway,
they're trying. They're all trying. I think
they're all trying. They're all like we're going to make this thing, and it can talk to some of your stuff. And they make these vague promises of, and also monitor a third party. And you're like, can it really? And the closest they'll get is like through either RESTful or through SNMP. And you're like, that could give me some basic status, but is that really what I need?
I will say this, for all those that are doing this type of stuff, the key word you're looking for is single pane of glass, single window. If I cannot see all of my stuff, and I'm not saying tabs on a browser either, that's not what I'm saying. You better make it so I can put links to my shit inside your thing. If you're not, you're not going to get sold. I'll say it again. If you're not doing that, you're not going to get sold.
I'm not punching holes through the network for all these different things.
Yeah, right. I run them off all the time for that. I'm like, look, if I can't, I don't want 17 different of these services, and I am not allowing all 10,000 of my devices a portal to the internet, because none of you use the same port systems. So I have to have all these open ports to the World Wide Web, which my security officer
that. That's the one thing
reminds
I know they love
me
the
that
most.
he's in charge. I am not. And
it's his world. You're just living in it barely.
And your
if he had his way, you wouldn't be here. Yeah.
So, and I don't need it all on prem either. But there's
don't want that either. You're paying for that.
But they all have their own little ecosphere, this ecosystem that works best with their own thing, and we're set.
I'm not anti this. I'm all in. Like, I
No,
want
this is a great concept.
So don't hear
Whoever
what I'm
comes
not
out with
saying
one
here.
of these that is truly platform agnostic, cloud hosted, does exactly what Jamie and Mark were just saying. It does it all. It can talk to stuff. It has and they actively write plugins, whatever they need for third party stuff, the common stuff. Everybody knows what everyone else sells. It's not a difficult process. Whoever does that, yes, you can rename it to this and charge me a fee if it does everything I need in a single interface, and it does not with our stuff you can do this, but with their stuff, yeah, you can kind of see maybe I don't know, maybe it's there, I don't know, but that is a solution.
I manage
and
everything,
no one
Chris.
does that now.
And Mark, you kind of
our
poo-pooed
money.
the on-prem. If I don't have that single
you
pane
go
of
for it.
glass, I'm on-prem at that point.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah, it's either you give me everything or I don't want any of it.
Yeah, it's all or not.
And I'll pay for it if you come out with it.
Yeah.
It's all or not in Rev 1 because you're not going to get a second chance. So it better
it's
work.
done.
Yeah. So
It's
have
done.
it all or don't do it at all. So I welcome it. Let's do it. Let's go.
It's
Do you
simple.
want us to brand something like that? You
Yeah,
want us to do it?
I'll start coding it this weekend.
It's a
Don't
Google
worry.
Doc.
It's-
We'll just share it. We'll
That's
host
the
it.
thing.
Yeah.
I've talked to people about that for other solutions for things like this, not necessarily within the AV sphere, but with this type of concept. Like at a certain point, if I can write an online web page that gets me 95% of the way there, the way I want to do it, and has links out appropriately and can pull the right information and all that stuff, and if it's just giving me heartbeat status because that's all I'm getting from your commercial product anyway, then why am I paying you $14 million a year to do it? So
We did this like 10 years ago with a Google Doc. Like, no shit.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
did it. It was a support page that had everything embedded really clean and gave us
And that's how a
real-time.
lot of them are still doing it now. They're maintaining their on-prem Fusion stuff from years ago with links out to other stuff because it's now this wobbly house of cards all based on web links, but it works. It's a single pane of glass for the support people to start from. Yes, they go out from there, but it's a starting point, gives you that snapshot overview. It talks to damn near everything, and it's existing and working right now. So if you want me to move to something else, it has to be better.
And the guy who out there, the engineer who's working on this, that's screaming at us right now as if he's listening to this show, your report better be a CSV. If it's not some common shit, I don't want to look at it. Like, it better get down to be basic report, not some proprietary weird bitmap image that it prints out off of the cloud. Like, that's not going to work.
No, it's only in what's the web one, the web P
Yes.
thing, or the new.
It gives me a
graphic.
TIFF, some weird version of a print file. I can't even do anything with it.
HEIC. Figure that out.
50 meg bitmap.
Yes. Damn it.
So
The other thing I did want to reiterate, if your focus is, we'll start by monitoring room systems, you're already down the path.
Nobody does rooms.
Well, and even if you do, even if you say our campus is all in on Zoom rooms, Teams rooms, Google rooms, Google needs a better definition, by the way. But anyway, or terrible 323 conferencing systems, whatever's out there, there's other stuff too. And the ability to see that in that case, it's usually the appliance with whatever approved devices that are connected to it. And sometimes only certain of those show up in that console anyway. That's getting me
Only
like
the
40%.
approved devices, Chris.
I thought
Because-
everybody's rooms are going to turn into teams.
Shh.
Yes.
Don't you dare.
I thought
So
that's
I
what's
can look.
happening.
I can look that up
Reality
now and
engineer.
see that yes, the
They probably
room
are,
is
yeah.
online, and the system is reporting that it's online. But that's only the appliance that's reporting that. It
You
doesn't
need to
tell me
buy
what
all
everything else is doing.
certified stuff, buddy. Let me sell you this
now
whole
we're
kit of
just-
certified stuff.
we're
I need to
starting
buy
a
my
whole
certified
nother-
projector
I'll
screen
show you
for
where you guys can
teams.
put your certified stuff.
certified projector screens.
rolled it
certified
up into a
speakers.
certificate tube
That's right.
and
You want
jammed it right
to
up your
twist that up
receptacle.
real tight, hold that in both hands, and you want to shove. So
Well, that's a good trend. And yeah, again, I'm looking forward to it being done at InfoComm, I guess.
But that is the one of the three trends that I think is real if they can execute on what we need. Right now, they're
But
all
not
kind of
the
built.
way it's going.
Not the
I
way
think
it
that's
is
the
now.
key. Like
The way it
of
needs
the
to
three
be,
trends, none of them have me excited because of the direction all of them are going right now.
If you are doing one of those systems, please reach out to us so we can consult with you in the meantime so you make sure you can land it correctly.
I would love to find one of these that is a no foolin' like platform agnostic, cloud hosted, whatever thing that does everything that it could possibly do. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
because there's not one yet. So if someone's out there's got one, reach out because I'm interested. I think we're all interested. I think a lot more people than they think are
I'm looking
interested
at
in
all of
this.
them. I'd be wrong if I said I wasn't looking at them. I just haven't found the one yet.
Looking at them to the point where they've put a restraining order on me. All right, let's close out our news segment by pushing this button. There There. That was exciting. Now we're done with news.
If they didn't know, they know now.
It's the end. That's it.
It's
All
like
right.
that was like Midwest weather coverage.
All right. I'll go back. How about
Tornado
this
in
one?
Oklahoma. It's going to make it to Illinois.
How about that? Is it better? Happier with that?
I'm just talking about our length of news.
It was nice. Half the show.
What?
Did good on that one.
All right, let's drop in a quick break here. Come back. We're going to talk about how we organize our different types of things and systems and stuff.
As many of you know, the Super Friends have always been better received when we have more input from you. So, here's your chance. Send us a note at mailbag@avsuperfriends.com and get involved with the show. We're looking for some topics to discuss, some fellow nerds to talk to, or just general AV awesomeness to brag about. But remember, we'll probably steal your ideas. And I suppose we'd take some criticism, but that wouldn't be very nice. Anyway, drop us a note at mailbag@avsuperfriends.com and find out how quickly we ask you to join this nonsense.
We're just going to keep running house ads because why not?
Get some money's worth out of these
How we do it. All right, so I teased this at the top as how we build and design our classrooms, and that's wrong.
That seems wrong, yeah.
That's wrong. It's how we think of our general systems on campus. Now, they may be classrooms, they may be conference rooms, they may be auditorium. I suppose you could have different levels of auditorium, but what I'm getting at here is how, and everyone does it slightly differently, are these type 1, 2, 3, type ABC, tier 1, 2, 3, system 1, 2, 3.
Where's the break? Where's the break at?
Whatever those are called. How do we determine what's a 1, 2, 3, what's an ABC? How do we determine what fits within each bucket?
Yeah, there was some chatter
that
on this
fair?
in ETC recently. That this year, people finally got their standards to meet some tiers and some types, and I felt that was an interesting enough conversation. We all have had that conversation somewhere in the past. I felt it was worthy to tease that out a little bit. So, or not. I don't know.
All right.
Here we are.
Well, thanks for joining, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.
We made it. Done. So I'm in the middle of this right now. It's the even year for us, so I'm making sure we're going through all these types. And I was like, I want to collapse this down and simplify this a little bit.
Wait, why'd you say even year?
I don't do this every single year. It's 24. I'm doing this in an even year.
He only does it on even years that are divisible by 4.
Yes. Leap year happens to be the one on.
And you
really
do it on February 29th. You give yourself 24 hours to figure out everything.
We got to do it all. So it was a heated discussion around here recently, and this is where this came from. Is that I looked at a lot of these standards, and a lot of this had to do about we're moving data into SharePoint and cleaning things up or making things worse. I can't tell yet.
If it's SharePoint, it's worse.
Whatever. But I wanted to collapse some stuff and simplify some things. So we broke out the definitions and started thinking about it. And I wondered, what are we all doing? And so, where am I wrong? Maybe everywhere. So I don't know.
This sounds like an opportunity for you to try to crowdsource your work.
That's what I'm trying to do here, guys. Come on, get on the catch up. Let's go. So no, I collapsed ours into 4, and we could talk about those 4, but I want you guys to talk about you. I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
I'm not making that the title.
I'll show you everything. I don't know if you want to know it.
But what if I have more than 4?
That's okay. I'm curious of what the division is.
Let's
now
open the kimono and really get into this.
I don't care what the stuff is. I want to talk about like what is the capability of those breakdowns.
Yeah, so let's set some ground rules on this. If when you say standards at your institution, immediately you start thinking about the stuff in the room. It has this model thing. You screwed up. You got to go back to square one and start over.
Right.
It should be about capability. It should be about activity. It should be about what sort of teaching, learning, meeting, presentation stuff that's happening in there, what the room system provides people to do and not be able to do.
Yes.
But most importantly, if someone says, hey, we should change to an entirely different, ecosystem, or somebody again stopped shipping for 2 years because they were on vacation and having a nice, healthy brunch.
Vacation.
You should be able to continue straight ahead without faculty or students noticing.
Right.
Because you've got flexible
the capability
systems
is the same,
and the capabilities are still there. Yes.
Yeah. So
Is that fair?
I think that's a fair disclaimer.
Also, by the way, I do want to also point out we are not going to solve this in the next however much time is left on this. Where's my
14
clock?
minutes.
I will.
I'm not even sure what we're
12
solving
minutes.
for.
We're not solving for anything.
We're just consulting Mark.
This is
No.
probably going to be a multi-part series where we talk through, we go deep into how we kind of decide what goes into each space and
It's
what
not
makes sense for all of us.
Consultation.
Intervention of Mark.
Mark has a due date of next week, so we're going to have to record these.
And last year was an odd
back to
year,
back.
so I had kind of started this then.
Yeah.
Oh, you do odd years. Mark does even.
I haven't
Well, this
started.
way I make Mark's job easier.
It's ready for me. I can just copy and paste
See, I
it
do
right
it
out.
twice a year because I got confused between biannual and biennial and not sure which one's which. So I think I did it the wrong way, and I do it twice a year. So
So they're real up to date. No, so let's start at the beginning. It is your lowest and or is it your least capable of systems?
Yes.
It is.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
what?
We can agree on that?
I
What
have
is-
stopped using that, so I'll get
Okay.
back to that.
Whoa,
Do you just call them
what?
least capable?
Actually,
You just skipped like your
wait,
tier
yeah,
ones.
buddy.
That doesn't
So,
make
yeah,
sense.
Minor
I-
doozies, yeah, they're great.
Well, let's start with with nomenclature. What
Yeah.
do we use? Are we ABC 1, 2, 3? What do we use?
I've
Around the horn.
adopted
Mark.
tier 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Oh, and I just
And there's-
divorced tier.
and a sometimes 5.
You're
I'm
going to hate
serious. I
this.
use
You
tier.
just
I'm-
said there
I'm
are
getting
4,
rid
and
of
you're
it.
already
There's
saying there's
4.
sometimes 5.
I need clarity. When we get there, I want clarity.
I do tier 1 through 5, but then I also have classification of A or B, depending
What
on
the
who pays
heck?
for it.
Tier A1.
Tier. So Larry, you're tier
A1
1 through
something,
5,
buddy.
but then you have subcategory.
I have classification whether it's a covered space that will be replaced by us with new equipment or a space that is either departmental or doesn't have enough credit hours to remain covered that I will keep old stuff around in case I need to fix it.
I
But
like
that's it.
that.
Are these? More clarification. Is this what you refer to it internally,
Yes.
or is
it
this
doesn't go
what you
outside.
post with the registrar?
I registered it. Oh, doesn't know.
I'm with you, Jamie. I'm trying to get this this is the identity.
This is why I got
of
away
the
from
stuff.
tiers, is because I am starting to reclassify into normal language that the registrar can have like a wiki page of this is what we're talking about when they
Okay, well, it's not your turn yet. Larry's still talking about his
The
weird-
registrar does
Yes, but
have
my
tier
job on this
1
show
through
for the last 3 years is to interrupt Larry. That's been my whole gig for 3
It's
years.
true.
So, Mark, you are tier 1, 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5. Larry,
Yes.
you are tier 1 through 5 with an A, B, depending.
7.
Yeah, and the registrar does have a key of what tier 1 through 5 means.
Like a little
Then you're
Orphan
doing
Annie
it wrong.
decoder ring key thing?
Yeah, do they
They
sure
have
to
a
drink
document
your
that explains it.
Ovaltine? All right. All right, Jamie, now it's your turn. What is your plain human readable language version?
I
Crapola, less than,
I
better?
disengaged from the tiers. We used to do the tier 1 through 5.
He names them Fred, George.
Well, I do.
Bob.
Unicorn,
I actually
spaceship.
have one that's called Legacy End of Life. I have. I have
build
a
new
tier.
What
legacy
is that?
end of life
Yeah.
rooms?
Threat level
Yeah.
1?
They are the legacy rooms that are just hanging on by a thread. They may be, and in the description it says systems older than 15 years and experience critical failures more regularly. That's with the registrar. We post that.
I don't.
So
okay.
buyer beware.
Yeah.
Yes, because they function 80% of the time. Most people that take those rooms don't give a crap. And
So
but
we
I
have now
that
already
legacy
diverged
tier.
on different approaches here completely. 'Cause I'm
Oh, I
talking
know.
about like what I'm selling. You're talking about what the registrar is trying to like
Well, I have
advertise
the-
that is able to be used.
Now it's like digital classroom, enhanced active learning in labs, high flex
So
conference
they're
rooms.
all not digital?
No.
We're gonna get through this. I can tell. We're gonna make it.
Yeah.
We're not going to get through this initial
Now, it
part of
used to be
naming.
tier 1 and 2, but when I said tier 1, and it encompassed like just a projector or a conference room,
Let me
and I'm like,
let me
wait,
ask you
these
this
get
way:
all kind of crazy. So we started breaking them out of tiers. Nobody knew what they were.
if I was a
they know what
capital
digital
project
means.
that said, Jamie, I have a building that's going to consist of like 4 or 5 different types of spaces, where would you go, and what would the name of your file be that you're filling that spreadsheet in with?
And please say legacy end of life.
I want you to deliver me a legacy end of life system, brand
I
new
need
out of the
3
box.
new legacy end of life rooms.
The key here is that this is the new language.
I'm with you. I get you.
Yeah. And like a digital classroom is just
It's a digital
the
classroom.
PC, the computer. It's more than a whiteboard and a piece of chalk, right?
Okay.
Because the chalk doesn't work well on a glass whiteboard. I don't know if you guys have experienced that. So I'm putting it out there.
Dry
That's
erase markers
subjective.
work great on chalkboards, by the way.
And then there's the enhanced digital one, and that has more of the cameras and the microphones, and you can do a little bit more in there. But I needed to separate a regular classroom-ish environment from HighFlex, because what we were having was that people wanted to call it HighFlex, hybrid, whatever, and they were just getting into these regular classrooms and wondered, well, why don't I have multiple cameras, and why don't I have the extra microphones? Since I can't put those in all 200 rooms right now, I had to find some common language that when they request, so when they come to me and they say, we want 5 HighFlex rooms and just 3 standard digital classrooms, okay, let's go.
Okay.
If they say we have a special event space, great. It goes right into my special event space category.
So you're really more on like how this looks from the public persona of how they're going to use this room.
I have to, because when I use tiers, if I have to use that internally outside of my staff, if I use it with the computer support people or network support people, they don't give two rips, right? What's a tier? I don't care. But if I say, hey, I'm in this HighFlex room, they're like, oh, well, okay, that means something a little bit different. If I go to, we just talked about all the time, or we talk about all the time, let's go to the instructional designers. They don't care about tiers. What can I put in here? And active learning labs, great. Most of them are similar. So, but I got away from the tiers. It just caused more problems. And internally, my staff, it was clear, it was quick, it was easy. Outside of my staff, it got crazy.
Gotcha. Justin, I'm just anxious to hear what you have to say on this.
Please tell me they're named after locations in Kentucky.
Different mascots.
Or bourbons. These are types of bourbon.
It's got to
The
be
bourbon
bourbons.
room.
Yes.
And then
We have
this is
7
the
different kinds. It's called the Budweiser room, the Jack Daniels room.
Secretariat
Pappy
room.
Van Winkle room.
We're going to name them after.
Secretariat.
Yeah.
Secretariat.
Horses.
Yep. And then the Corvette room, right?
Famous Kentuckians.
For Bowling Green. That's where all
Do you
the
have a Colonel
Corvettes are
Sanders
made.
room? Because that's all I want to know.
We have a Colonel Sanders room
All right, perfect.
for KFC. Right?
Strictly for KFC
Yep.
and hot desking.
Everybody knows what that is, and Colonel Sanders delivers the shit, man.
So-
that room level is the premium.
Everybody
active learning,
listening,
isn't
When you're looking good. Yeah, I'm telling you.
everybody listening is wondering, are these
Everybody's
those
going to
little
want this room.
product drops? Are they getting paid for these mentions?
The high
No,
flex
I should
active learning
be.
space.
Somebody out there is like, shit, they're turning around right now going through KFC drive-thru.
So in the
Like, you're
KFC
welcome.
room, that sounds like it's a very active learning space.
All right, guys, look, I'm not going to bullshit you.
Everything has greasy handprints on
Yes.
it. Just
I'm not going to
Don't bullshit us
here.
on this, Justin. Give us the real.
So we've all internally in IT have tried to do this for years and years, but you've heard me complain about we don't have every room we do is department owned. So we're, at the mercy of their funding.
One-off unicorns everywhere.
We have a published tier 1, 2, 3, 4 room system type list here that I finally found on our webpage. I'm like, man, that was like wrote in 98. It's like VGA with audio and wall plate and like wired internet. I'm like, holy shit.
That's Jamie's legacy
So-
room.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Done.
basically the way I see it as of today, we are like level 1. We're going to give you a couple inputs and a projector and hopefully some sound. Like that's it.
wait,
I know.
and hopefully some sound.
We have a whole building.
Refer to
where
that
the
other
math department.
show we did where we got heated about if and when there is appropriate
The
sound.
math
and it has to be to
department
the
did
T.
not want sound in their rooms. They didn't want to pay the $1.50 for the speakers that we offered them because they, so we can't force them to pay for anything. It's their money, so they didn't get sound. That was that.
Just A.
It's just
Or no A. They don't get any A. Just V.
just a V
Okay.
and a remote and a 5-wire VGA. Go
Okay.
have fun.
So
So we have a lot of different things out there. Now, when we do needs analysis with clients, usually these are, hey, our projector broke, we need a new one. And we try to talk to them about what we have to offer and use that as a marketing opportunity. And we talk kind of roughly those capabilities per different levels. And they just usually aren't that interested because we're usually talking to an office associate and she's like, we have $5. So
we need everything. We want all the stuff. We have $5.
Usually,
Justin,
all of
you
this
said it
comes
was
into
level-
play with
said
like a
level
new
1, though.
building, capital construction project. That's
Right.
where
You
we
said
start
level
talking
1.
this
How many
seriously.
levels are there before you, or is it not well defined?
It's not well defined. The way I look at it is your next level may have an additional display, maybe some
Or
microphones
speakers?
because the room grows, maybe speakers.
Maybe.
You know, we're going to put a fucking, F word. We're going to put a microphone in there with no audio. Like we're that dumb, right? So that's it. My bad.
Let's dive into the type 1s or 0s or wherever you guys. Chris, will you have yours real quick? You want to? Because I think you're in the middle of this as well. At some level, right?
You guys got bored of me quick. Sorry.
They're written up.
They're written right there. Yeah, everybody can read
Anyway,
them. Yeah.
so I took the same nomenclature. I took the same nomenclature from IU, and I have a package ABC. The problem I ran into is I started with a package A. Okay, here's kind of our general, standardish, space, the normal 4 walls and a projector sort of space, and realized I had a little too much stuff in there, so I was dialing it a little too high of a capability. And so the cost was blown out. So I was dialing it back. So I created a package A-. Nobody wants to buy an A- product. So I had to rename that. But I had already created a B. So now I've boxed myself in. So now I have to have so I've got a type A, a type A+, and a type B. Beyond that is Custom Town. And in Custom Town lives things like auditoriums, active learning classrooms, all that stuff that inevitably ends up being, I got to sit down and design this all the way through because it's different enough. It's some sort of unicorn. Okay. So in my case, there's package A+, and B, and then other.
Okay.
And that's as far as
I
I
use
that's
the word
fair.
package. Do you use that word a lot?
Package.
Do you?
Justin, are you looking to
just
start
this.
this week in packages? Is that what you?
This week in package.
I don't know. It
Package
sounds
town.
weird to me.
So we all kind of talk
You're the
about
one who has a
hating,
room called
I don't know, it's
Finger
just
Licking
different.
Good.
I'm not hating.
No.
It's fine.
This is good.
For the record, you all keep referring to these things as the same terminology I used, and say the tier 3 is just a regular digital classroom. Ha ha.
Regular digital classroom, right?
So does that mean you're right?
I do want to ask this question, and Mark, I think you mentioned before: is 1, 2, 3 is 1 the best or the worst in an ABC? Which one's worse?
1 in my classification is the least capable out of them all.
correct.
It's not worst by any matter. It's just the least capable.
It's usually same. 1
For what it has, I'm putting the best foot
very
forward.
Minimum.
Yeah. So
amount.
our one is.
Do you have sound?
Yes, it is display
Usually, yes.
with sound
cool.
With sound.
usually-
With sound. Hold
and
on.
input that is handheld, remote controlled. Often
Yes.
it is not part of my support
wait a minute.
ecosystem.
No, I don't do that. No.
Shit,
no.
I need another one.
Button
Crap.
channel.
Everything
There's a
has
spot
a
for that.
processor of some sort.
Level
I-
-1. So I'm in the negatives.
I agree. The desire
Level
is to
half.
always have things that are on our control and support network. We used to refer to this as like the 0. Like we didn't want to acknowledge that it existed, but they do, and there is a time and a place for them. And that's
Those are worse than the legacy end of life.
No, nothing beats that.
no. I mean, usually these are like somebody's
But everybody
office.
knows what that is.
Right? These are usually not
But
classrooms.
do you consider that a type,
Offices
though?
are different.
What's that?
Do you consider that a type?
It's type 1. Yeah.
No.
It's my simplest of system that I deploy that people can call here. Because when I say this, these are the types of systems that if you call and we install, that we're going to acknowledge and come out and support you. That's where this goes, right?
By the way, I think
Larry looks pissed.
He is like he's pissed at me.
Larry,
right now.
Just
angry.
putting a monitor on the wall is not a system. Like,
No,
Is it not?
Oh, does it have sound? Because now it's a system.
It's a system.
Is it A and V?
I would argue,
yeah,
Larry.
but not a system.
To us, everything could be that simple when we look at it, but to the user, that is a
If
system
the
or a
Geek
solution.
Squad can do it, it's not part of my service offerings.
So you're subbing out to the Geek Squad?
That's
no,
okay.
I'm not. That's the problem.
But there's a clear defined use case that exists like that on our campus, and projects will have those in them. We do advocate if it's a new thing, give me some networks there, give me everything I need to make this a complete holistic system. Maybe the department's not going to spring for that. It's okay. They can still have their big dumb display, big sound bar, and maybe a computer and or just an HDMI input and go nuts. That's
See, you've
the
just had
basic
more things
thing.
that would make it a system, but if it's just a monitor with a remote control, no.
Yeah, I mean, but to me, that type
Boy,
one
you
is
throw
it's
that
not
sound,
perm. So.
you throw that sound bar on the wall. That's a solution.
Yeah, Larry, you guys are throwing around sound like you're millionaires.
I know.
Seriously,
We don't have that
Oregon
North
State
Carolina
money
money.
here.
Aha, how's it feel, Larry, to be rich?
Larry's rich.
Justin, can I
He
suggest you start
afford
calling your rooms with sound talkies?
sound. The Secretariat is that one.
Okay. So that's my
This is the silent film room.
This is a silent
that's my
film room?
basic tier one. Like that's what our support kind of is. We agreed upon that. There's a use case. We do these. We do them a lot actually. And so now this is not a classroom. These are usually office and or commingled. Think of them at the baseline huddle space-ish kind of thing. That's
That
kind
was
of
a
where
cuddle space.
Cuddle space, yeah. I'm sorry for the mispronunciation.
I have a group for that.
Okay, what's your group?
The cuddle space
Conference
group.
room, huddle space, and small group rooms.
There you go. Okay,
Done. No tier.
I'm into it.
But isn't that a type?
It's a type.
It is a type.
Classification.
I like.
Let me ask this question
I like
before
to
we
break down rooms into type. I like people in types.
You like to really segregate this stuff out.
I want to make sure that the types
Do you have different types of
conflicts.
water fountains in your buildings?
Actually, yes.
Let's just say this, because I think we're now seeing this. We all have our preferred 3, 4, 5 room types, and then immediately we're going to have caveats outside of that.
Yes.
It sounds okay. So we've already screwed up our own system.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we try like hell to get them into that box for sanity's
and
sake.
that's
and
where
support.
I like. When I was doing the tiers, I kept getting into, well, tier 5 is custom, but tier 6 is custom, and tier 7 is I'm like,
Boutique
no.
custom.
And nobody even knew, so that's why now this is a big experiment on my part. This could just fall flat on its face and nobody likes
Love
any of the
experiment,
terms that I picked. But so far the registrar and the instructional designers at least passively are saying, hey, this is better. Now, whether it's getting passed on, I have no idea. But
Okay. So in the
just ran out of tiers,
the
man.
time we have here today.
Well,
I started getting into Larry land where I have
Somebody
tier
mentioned
A and
it,
B and C and 17 and
Yeah, and that was the problem I had. Somebody mentioned it. That's like a type 0, and I have that problem because I had like that. Like I said, I started with A. Oh, let me dial it back. Oh, now it's an A minus. All right, let me change it. Now it's an A and an A plus. And I've already started on work on like, well, what's like something below that, and I'm calling it a 0. So now I'm screwing up my own system because I have a type 0 and then an A, which isn't even the same system. So. It's falling apart. Is the problem.
What is your hexadecimal? Is your naming scheme?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
what
going
do
to
you-
hex. Screw it. I'm going to have 16 types. That's great.
actually this might work out.
Good.
Yes, I think we
You
may
should
be in
just
this.
start
I had a good
over
idea now.
and start at like
Hexadecimal
type
room types?
67.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to burn down my computer and I'll start over.
Start over.
So do you type out the legacy ones?
No.
What?
Or did
No.
It's
so
a
if you have
service
that's a
offering.
good question.
If you have really old systems that are
No, they're called
standard
trash.
classrooms,
Yes.
Yeah.
how do you refer to those? How do you
Garbage.
support them?
They're
So those
crappy
will actually
level 1.
So to me, if I had an old system that had what we would recognize as, let's just say, the 80% of all the regular classroom, but it's just old, that's probably my type 3 room.
Because that's where I was
Which is the
falling apart.
third
was-
best. No, that's better than 1 and 2, right?
Yeah, my tier
Yes.
3 was just the standard classroom, whether it was
Right.
all VGA or HD
Whatever it is, the
or
capability, it's capability, not stuff.
capabilities. Yes, but what my problem was that when people would ask to replace that and then wonder why the cost went up by $12,000 because modern,
See, ours went down.
then I couldn't distinguish them. So I had to just take all of those that were after a certain date. It also helped me with funding requests because now my reports
You
all show that
prioritize
I
them.
have 87 legacy and end-of-life rooms that I need to replace soon. And the funding now is different. When I said I
That's
had
why I
tier
see an angry
3s
finger.
that I had
There's
to
a finger
replace.
coming in there.
I was going to say, Jamie, you're on the right
There
path
it is.
because
I saw it.
replacement
There.
cycle budget should come
Yes.
from what it costs to replace, not what it costs to install originally.
Right.
Yeah, and so
Larry, let me
that's
introduce you to the people in Wyoming. Look, that room cost $14,000 12 years ago. Why does a new one cost $25,000? You know, it's that. I get
you
that all the
missed a
time.
bunch of stuff, right?
Yeah, because the stuff wasn't. Well, now we have this thing called sound. Could I interest you in this? It's like picture, but for the ears.
sometime in the mid-30s, we got away from the piano player and it came out of the speaker.
Yeah. Okay, so we talked about 1. We talked about 3 now.
Are we answering anything here, or are we just?
well, I think
Hell
we're-
no! Like
Yes, we are.
I'm
We are.
lost.
We're
Are
getting
we
there.
like
We're getting
seriously?
there. We gotta
Well,
keep
Justin,
filling-
you're the one
filling
taking
the
notes
blanks.
on this, so you have to
Yeah.
give a report at the end.
Yeah, so
I got my
I'm just
report
reading you what I
ready.
have in my that Chat GPT gave me, and you guys are just going along with the ride.
ChatGPT, please
I think
design
it's a
several
very-
classroom tiers for me.
We never answer any of our own questions, but I
It's
think
culture
it gives
specific.
it gives people a very broad spectrum of, oh, maybe ABC is not the way to do this, because then like Chris says, well, I have A++. I have my Disney plus
Check
minus the
room.
Hulu section, right?
You wouldn't think that you'd box yourself in so quickly, but it's easy to do. So
Yes.
So I'll rattle through basic capabilities of my list here so you guys have it. So we'll go to the 2. We didn't talk about the 2. 2 is everything you saw in that first piece. Now we're going to have a button panel that is connected to my support network, and maybe we're going to be switching between some inputs, and it's part of the actual support ecosystem that exists here on campus. That's my 2. That can be a conference room. That could be a basic small classroom.
I
Now,
don't like that.
that's okay. I'm okay with that.
You're wrong.
And that I've been wrong at least once before. I'm here today.
This never happens, but I think Chris and I agree.
Okay. Why?
Same.
What about that's wrong? Articulate that for me, please.
You're
here
crossing streams there.
crossing
with Jim.
streams.
My learning spaces are different
got
than
my
my
popcorn
conference.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm just
you guys
learning.
are upset about the conference rooms and classrooms
The
thing.
fact that you just threw conference
No.
rooms in there. That's what I'm
See,
upset about.
mine is like the only upgrade you did was take away a remote that does all the same switching and put in a button panel.
No.
Hey,
what is
You
it?
shaved the
man.
buttons
I
off that
can-
remote and taped it down to the table.
Yeah, there's the Kentucky version, the Kentucky control
That
system.
is that Kentucky version aligns with the
Kentucky
Oregon
control
version.
system.
We are aligned.
You like that? Okay.
Aligned.
I'm in.
Yeah,
I do agree with the conference rooms, those projector only little spaces, those that they can all fill in.
Our
that
lowest
little
level
gap.
room definitely does not have a button panel.
See?
I'm just telling you that right now.
No,
See, my lowest level is not even part of like the proper
I have those,
support
but they're
network.
called literally called conference room. I'm looking at it right now. Conference room basic.
Mine were too, Chris. I came out of that exact thing. I'm a recovering conference room basic aholic myself, but I wanted to simplify this and collapse them in, so I put them all in 1 and 2s.
I have a
took off
separate
the
conference
cheap.
room tier. And
Why?
That's because it's a different experience. My instructors,
Is it?
like, I don't want to put a document camera in my conference room,
I'm
but a
not
document
either.
camera is part of the standard.
That's a widget. Like
No, but
that-
it's a standard piece of classroom technology that they expect when they go into any classroom across campus. And so
I don't
it's
advertise that it's capable. I'm not going to put a document camera in a Type 2 room.
But you could.
You could if you wanted to
All right.
carry it in there yourself and
Yeah.
do it.
Mark, is the primary difference on your room between a Type 2 classroom and a Type 2 conference room, I guess, the type of furniture in there? Is that fair?
Arguably, the stuff can be the same: big display, sound appropriate in
Yeah.
a room, and basic switching.
But if everyone's sitting around a table, it's a conference room.
Sure.
If I'm standing at a table looking at other people looking at me, sitting at individual tables, it's a classroom now.
Yeah, could be. And
I need to wrap my head around that one. I'm not.
yeah, but
I don't
I
love
don't.
that
I don't
either.
understand the desire to have to wholesale rip them out of the category because of how people are standing in the room.
Yeah, I
Fundamentally, the
also-
technology
I
is the
also-
same. Yeah.
I lump those in together.
But yeah, but for different types, I want to get into the Type 3, Type 4 differences. 'Cause I think that's where my classroom
Mark,
is really
I got to
proper.
pause,
again.
Mark.
Go ahead.
Is your leveling, tiering, whatever you want to call it, is that more for your internal team or more for your external clients?
Both.
But so it's equally as important.
It's becoming more important for ubiquity of language and also packaging of systems so people know what it is they're
So-
doing and the documentation piece of it.
For your internal team, I would
And
say
support.
that's a positive, wrapping the conference room and classroom together because it's, same kit of parts and all that shit that you use all the time. That externally, that could be confusing. So I might be on
Thanks,
Larry
Justin.
and Jamie's side for that.
And really, if you take mine and Chris's conference room and make that tier 0 or tier A,
But what if I have a class in there?
AA for
Hear
him,
me out. Call them conference room and cuddle spaces.
Yeah, or that,
A
and then we're
common
still on the same
language.
page.
I have
Okay,
a
I've
room that
lost
you guys
you
would go
all.
to downstairs right now where I'm at. Chris, you know the room, 350, 360 link. Those look, you walk it, those are conference rooms all day long. But guess
We're
what
gonna go
happens in
there.
those rooms? Classes get scheduled in that room.
Hot
Is it a
desk-
classroom
oh, sorry.
now?
Is that a hot class?
Are they supposed
hot
to be
classic.
in that room?
I'm a hot class.
It is their department. It's up to them to schedule the room.
Are you
how they
talking
wanna
about the
do it.
ones right across the hall there that they've now converted those into small classrooms?
They always were classrooms. They were outfitted and looked like conference rooms.
I've
That's a
also
seminar room.
stolen
The one that I had to replace the PoE injector, that goofball
PoE
PoE injector from Cisco that was never
learning
working.
spaces. Everything's a learning
Not
space.
that one. Yeah, yes, you're 100% right. They are
I told
all
the
learning
registrar,
spaces.
I told that there's no more classroom. It's all a learning space.
You're right. That's the right language. But everybody's going to say, well, we're a university, Jamie. Everything's a learning space.
Exactly.
Right?
Done.
So,
Including
so the whole
the men's
premise
room
of like,
stalls.
we're going to segregate and only conferencing type activities can go in here. They don't care who they're calling. I don't have a conference room team that runs down there that only supports conference rooms. It's
We
the
thought
same
you
shit.
did.
There
But
are
you
some
do have
schools who do, by the
covered-
way.
You do have covered spaces that, and
You said
every
I think
conference
outdoor
room out
spaces,
there
but yeah,
is
okay.
not a covered space, but
That's what I was
seminar
saying.
rooms are. That's kind of where this comes from. Like my tiers are the covered spaces, not necessarily the departmental conference
So are
rooms.
you turning people away?
No, I will go. I will assess the issue and then tell them how much it will cost to fix the issue.
Okay.
And we operate similarly,
Okay.
even if it's a departmental owned, departmental supported space. We will come and assist in trying to get it to operate to what they're asking for. If it's broken and or needs replaced and or something, then it's time and material.
Yeah.
But does the type of branding that's posted on the wall determine how you can respond?
Yeah, it does
No.
actually.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
don't.
what I'm trying to tease out here because I think there's
Yeah,
something
we-
unique in that support model that really is driving this.
Yeah, we don't. So most of that is I just want to know when we leave. It says, hey, we have a high flex room that has a problem. Well, I might have a different internal support that this person understands how high flex works and this one doesn't. So I'm going to send the one that does. Some of my staff, right? They
Man,
understand
my
the
kit is
intricacies.
confused right now.
It's because it's more than just the kit support. Maybe it has 4 cameras and it's like, okay, I have to now understand how to use Zoom, Teams,
4?
Google, whatever. And some of my technicians may struggle with that and some just get it.
Okay.
So,
What are you doing 4 cameras for?
well, why wouldn't you?
And what?
Better than 2?
Yeah.
Not as good as 8.
I'm
Yeah,
just
what
throwing
the hell,
numbers
Justin?
out. John,
He has speakers too. We don't talk.
He's got sound in there. Watch out.
I also have, it's stereo sound in most of these rooms.
Whoa!
Wait a
Hold
minute.
on a minute.
Now you're talking crazy.
Okay.
Jesus.
So this sounds
so
like
wait-
it's more of a it's a support thing. That's what I'm gathering here. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the
Yes.
reasons I bring that up specifically as far as the difference between classrooms and conference rooms is I do the same thing. So my staff knows that we triage our support based on availability. If it comes from a general pool, general inventory classroom, that's top support level support. You shove people and old women out of the way to get there. If it's a departmental classroom space, you'll get there after the other ones are taken care of. If it's a conference room or any other type of non-teaching space, we'll get there when we have a bit, and that may be Tuesday. You know,
But
it's sort of thing.
is that baked into your nomenclature of your types?
Yes.
It is. Okay.
Well, I mean,
Interesting.
between conference room and classroom, yes.
Okay.
but
I still haven't gotten. I
okay.
haven't heard the primary reasons. I would still say that you're all wrong still on that. That
Whoa.
that
So we're
they don't
all
need to be in their
wrong.
different classification. Jamie, I think
Well,
you're the closest.
I like Larry's. Not only does he have the types of classrooms, but then identifies whether that's like level 1 support or level 2 support, or whatever it was. I like that. So I'm going to make a matrix.
Let's challenge this. Can you make a conference room and a classroom out of the same stuff?
But we're not talking about stuff.
I know, but can you? You can. Okay.
It depends on the room size.
Right. If we have roughly the same stuff, I mean, it's going to look
mine-
really similar.
A
with
seminar
My head always
room-
goes to room size first before because you have
Larry
to.
just hit the nail on
that.
the head.
Yeah, if it's a seminar classroom
There it
and
is.
a conference room, it is the exact same thing except for the support model and who actually funds it.
Yes.
Okay.
So I have rooms
so
that
it's-
are conference rooms by every definition, except how it's used. It is a scheduled classroom for small seminar classes. That's a classroom.
So are the bill of materials roughly the same?
Between that and a conference room?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever whatever nomenclature you're calling, yes or no?
Yeah, they are very, very
So if we're
similar,
doing a
if not
capital
identical.
project, half of this is going to be GP, half is going to be departmental. I have a GP seminar room and I have a departmental seminar room. Are you going to call them different things?
Are they called seminar rooms on the drawings?
I don't know. They look like that. Are you going to use a different spreadsheet, different name for those
No,
things?
if it's a seminar room, then that is a learning space, not a conference room. And so, like, now we're
But you
in
know what?
how
I'm
many
moving in
credit
tomorrow. But you know what?
hours are
You know what?
scheduled.
Turns out we're going to make this a conference room after all.
Then
But it
we
looks
will
like you're
support-
right.
we will
Then it's
support
no
that
longer
accordingly.
supported, and if
Yes.
it's
Okay. I love it. Okay. Cool.
I have to do the same thing with departments here who did their. I paid for this 12 years ago. It was $14,000, and they've not put a dime into it since. Some of those have to kind of sorry, this is how the support model works.
But that doesn't explain, like, where I'm at is like the document packaging and like the stuff and the standard. Like, that's like so far down the rabbit hole that I can't get
the short
my mind
version of
around
answering
that.
your question, a type 0, conference room, whatever you want to call it, and a type 0 seminar room, I would say, yeah, they're identical. It's the same bill of materials. I'll change the name at the top. Boom, there you go. So the process is the
And I
same.
just want to object because this conversation is not what I thought we were going to be having.
Is it ever, Larry? Would we ever have like a conversation that I
Larry
trap you guys
objected.
into?
I've never heard
I'm just
Larry
saying, like, we were supposed to be talking about tiers, not support
We did.
models.
We got in support, but we went there because it felt like there was some differentiating piece that was based on the support model.
Which for some of us,
We got to get through these next 24 types of rooms here, guys. Come on, we got to pick up the
We've got 4 hours to go.
Yeah,
You need 7.
I really.
I'll go
yeah,
back to this
plus
conference
other.
room thing, that the support model and all of that. If there's a certain person in a certain conference room, we drop the classroom and run to the conference
There
room.
are there are
C-suite
tiers
above.
that are not mentioned.
So
that
we are
just
very
like-
flat and first in, first out on tickets. That's the way it kind of works, whether it's athletics or learning. We try to prioritize learning, but
That's the group I love telling, like, oh yeah, I can meet you in 2 weeks.
yeah,
Exactly.
Show me the money. No, this is because I think listeners here probably are somewhere in this murky stuff that's going on. I think my take on this is really the ask is coming from the budgetary documentation, like that whole piece of it, not necessarily so much on the support side, but I'm fascinated that they are all so deeply intertwined and woven together on how we view them and kind of project our identities onto these rooms. And I think I was kind of surprised, to be 100% honest. But
I'll just say that, kind of to the opposite of what Larry just said, this has been a fascinating discussion because we're really digging into nuances of how we think about our spaces.
exactly.
And I'm glad we have all come to a consensus.
I think a lot of it has to do with how they're funded. That's where it starts.
So with that,
Because
I'm just
that's-
going to roll the out music and we're done.
Friends.
I'm kidding. Sorry.
Whoa,
Wow, and we're out.
Nope.
there was that.
This is the beginning of an ongoing conversation I think we're going to continue to have.
Wait,
here
we're not going
that-
to solve it today?
No, well, we're going to. Yes, but you know what?
We're gonna really
I can
stretch
clear
this
my.
out.
I'm going to clear my calendar. We're going to go for it.
I don't
I'm
even
going
know
to throw a
what
grenade
we-
in the room. What about digital signage?
That's tier minus 2.
It technically would be a tier one.
Actually, that's
That's
not even
that
on my
minus
list,
2
but
tier.
it's
But
such
it's
a.
on your list somewhere.
It's on your list.
It's a
I was
system.
thinking
I was-
of
so-
learning spaces, and I didn't really count that as a learning
See,
space. That's
that
just
was-
that's
an
a
important thing.
support as assigned duty.
But it could be.
Hey, guys! Hot desking minus 3 level.
I thought you were going to say hot desking digital signage. This is
You know
mine
what?
right now.
It's
You
one
put your
below
stuff somewhere
signage.
else.
Yeah.
I love
just-
that concept of hot desking digital signage.
I just can't get in that deep on a hot desk. That's
What?
I think by the raw definition of the signage, it would probably fall into my type 1. To be honest, it would.
what did you're.
But why?
It's just a display and a player
You
with a
give
remote control.
you give the user a remote for their digital signage.
Yeah, they own it.
The owner, not the.
I throw the
viewing
remotes
it.
away.
There's no
I
users.
hope-
It's just the
I
owner.
really think that this whole conversation is going to have you retype your type.
I haven't found a good enough reason to do that yet. You guys have not convinced me.
You've already said you've got type 1, 2, 3, and 27 others that you haven't
Yeah,
mentioned.
1, 2, 3, and 4, and then like you all the thing, everything else.
He has a catch-all custom bucket. That's cheap.
Yeah, it's the one-off unicorn stable of things.
That's too easy. Like I got 1 through 4, and then everything else goes into this.
Which is like
But we don't do,
98%
we don't
of the
do a
campus.
lot of everything else though.
That's
the
type
thing.
square root of 92.
So
you all
I'm-
will
I'm-
see when we come here to Northwest Med. There's not that much.
I'm looking
random
at my
stuff out
systems
there.
right now. I'd try to share this, but I did this. Going to
Explain it to them bit by bit.
So I'm just looking at the way they're laid out. Conference room basic, conference room advanced. There's no conference room. It's just basic or advanced. And the
Okay.
difference there is like whether or not it has like a true
Where's your
control system.
medium?
It's gone.
If you have a low and high, there's a
What's in
It's only
between?
low
You
and high.
skipped a
There's
step.
no in between.
It's just like Chicken Man. You get original or extra crispy. Just leave
That's
it.
it.
All right?
And I've got package
there's
A
more.
basic, package A plus, which is causing problems. Zoom cart interactive, conference room basic with control. There's the medium. Haha. Digital signage. Then I've got package B, and then the new one, the package 0. And then there's still stuff outside of that. So this is becoming very messy.
You
Chris,
rattle off
that's
12
not
things.
confusing at all.
Yeah, I'm no longer on your side, man.
But what's your value meal? Give me that. I want to know what's on the value meal. I can't afford these
The
packages.
problem is I've got 2 versions of the package 0 I'm playing with. So I've got package
want
0, but
value
what if I did
meal
that with Dante? And so now I'm just like,
wait,
Ketchup
no,
only,
yeah.
extra pickles, mayonnaise on my French fries.
How is there
with
Dante on package 0?
isn't that amazing?
Well, you need at least a layer 2 switch.
So here's the thing. In my basic room, I would, to your point, Jamie, I want to start, every space includes a fully managed switch because all that shit needs it these days.
Whoa.
So your TV on the wall requires a managed switch.
No, because that's not one of the
I'm just gonna
packages.
say
That's
whoa.
outside of Package Town. So this is where you guys have proven, I think we've all proven, that all of our systems right now are terrible. And we need to go back and revise them.
I don't
But
That's
like
what I'm trying to do. You guys are
Terrible.
refusing to do my homework for me. You guys are fighting me tooth and nail on this.
Jamie does have terrible defined as a separate category, so he's...
My categories, it's nice and neat. It just falls together. It's 7. You need 7. You need
All of
7.
mine are defined as current
Shit.
or BC.
What?
So
Before Chris.
BC before Chris gets its own category.
Only you would travel to every university and change their calendar.
I will slowly fix every university. I'm coming to a town near you on the,
Hey,
the nationwide
I'm waiting.
AV tour.
I'm waiting for Chris to show up in Bowling Green. He'll quit AV after that.
All right, so Mark,
fix
when
that
do you
stuff.
think you're going to get to a point where we can revisit this?
We're
Next
practically
show.
there. Yeah, we're gonna continue this conversation, and then we'll append them when I'm convinced that I need
is there to
but I have
continue?
yet to pen.
I
We
want
have
to talk
pen.
about how we put together our tiers.
Yeah, we're
How-
gonna talk
Are
into
we
the
building
stuff,
them
yeah.
based on budget, based on capability, based on needs? Are we going based on planned obsolescence? Are we building them based on spite, which I am doing right now?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we're gonna deep dive.
So
as we
there's
go
a
forward.
lot of options and reasoning
Malicious
behind some of this
compliance.
stuff.
So right now,
malicious
I think
compliance
we've come
is a good
away.
one.
We've all agreed that there's on
There's ways to break
average
this down.
the
We can break
average
it
is
down.
maybe we're 5 ish, kind of
Six.
maybe.
It gets
Now that
messy
we've
at that
added
Depending on
conference
how you
rooms.
cross your eyes and how much you drink.
I love how everybody visually was not comfortable even with the number 5.
Mark's like, because I had 5, everybody's 5, and the rest of us like, no.
When we
I've
started,
got
everybody
and then I've
kind
got
of thought it
5
was
more,
5,
and then
we
there's
all
some other
convinced
ones I
ourselves.
didn't talk about,
Yeah,
I've
exactly.
said 7 the whole time.
Okay, well,
plus the others.
we will do our best as we move through this conversation to kind of put some constraints around what
There's
maybe
boundaries.
these types could be and maybe what you could consider them that they do or do not do and who likes them and doesn't like them and who's getting them anyway, because
hate 'em all.
that's the way it works.
I'm adjusting right now. I hate my entire system right now, and I want to change it before the next show.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
So
All right. Well,
So
by
I
the
guess
end
we're in
of
for a
March at
great
Northwest
weekend.
Met, find out what,
Yeah,
what
stay
we've
tuned for
done.
more. And yeah, as part of that, that's a good segue.
thanks for that inadvertent
Yes.
segue, Jamie.
Yes.
Northwest
It was an
Met,
accident.
March 25th. He
and
says
on.
disgustingly.
Yeah,
You sound defeated when you said that.
it's a lot of work. that I
March
have
20.
rolled
No,
in.
it's not the 25th.
Is it not?
That's Monday.
That's when it technically starts.
That's when it starts. That's when I'm
But
getting
is that-
there.
That's not the. That's Buy It Monday.
At some point between March 25th and 29th, there is a conference in
Somewhere
Corvallis,
in Oregon.
Somewhere out
At
here.
some
Somewhere
point,
in
things are
Oregon.
happening. I still haven't seen a schedule for it.
It's in the northwest section of the country.
Show
that
up to
figured out.
Oregon, look for the smoke signals, you'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, drive northwest until you see rain, and that's you're in the right spot.
Raul will greet you.
Raul will look for Raul by the side of the road.
There's only one
Not a
Raoul
flag.
in Oregon.
Big finger this way.
Can't miss him.
It's like one of those flailing arm guys. That's going to be him.
So I think, are we all going to be there? Is that what's
Trying.
wacky waving?
That's Trying really hard to get
That's
everybody
the
there, yes.
Threat right now. Yes.
Did you just refer to Raul as wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube Raul? Because all right.
Don't we all?
March 25th through the 29th in Corvallis, Oregon. Well, partially in Portland, and partially in Newport. So we've already lost that one. How many tiers are going on in this conference?
12.
Well, there's 7. There's 7.
12 tiers.
The threat is we will all be there. At least 3 of us are confirmed, I think.
Yes. But one of those sessions, let's talk about some sessions, Chris. One of those sessions is the metrics. We talked about the
One of the
metrics
sessions, the two of us.
I'm not even prepared for this. Now I got to open
is actually
files.
teaching.
The metrics of success in how we develop these things that we do as maybe it's standards or things or objectives that we're doing in classrooms. We can actually put some numbers and some thought about this because we clearly laid out for you all today how good we are at it.
We are awesome at organizing.
Um,
Just take what we said and take it straight to the provost office. You're going to get your money.
You're good. Get your
Just
stamp.
take the transcript, print it out, hand it in. You're good.
But,
I think we sounded like a bunch of cats covering up shit on a mirror.
That's not a saying.
That's exactly what we're going for today.
What the
That's what I think we sounded like.
Hey, anything goes.
When
in the
has
cookie.
that ever happened in the history of mankind? Not, I mean, and not at your house, but
So the metrics of success.
Metrics of
all right.
success.
Back to that. Let me read the official thing on metrics of success. So it's called defining metrics of successful AV and learning spaces, aka metrics of success. So what we're going to talk about there is basically I'm looking at the notes now. We're going to explore the methodology and processes of how to develop your own metrics at your institution, not focusing on how to build AV learning spaces, but rather why we build them and how to evaluate them. There, that's the official language.
That sounds like we need to put our thinking caps on.
That's why we got to get through this tier conversation.
Oh,
We need it
okay.
done by the end of March.
Jeez.
There's other ones. We're doing some other ones. If
So
you
we're doing
can't
that
stand
one. We're also going to do one called the top 10 things to avoid in your next AV project, aka, but a little less negative, a little more positive than the negative version, aka you're doing it wrong. And also our 5-year forecast. We're going to prognosticate about what's coming up in 5 years.
Yes,
Hot
be there.
desking.
Hot
Oh, that's going to be a
desking.
good one.
Hot desk.
Maybe. And
That will not
these are
be there.
interactive sessions. Very interactive. So the interactive session itself is very interactive. Like just
We're also doing
hot
a
desking.
live podcast stream record thing, whatever.
A
in
live
front
recording
of people.
Monday night.
A literal fireside chat.
Fireside chat with Justin.
Please don't bring fire.
Hey.
What else are we doing there?
Running around.
We're doing a lot of running around. Yes.
A lot of running around. We'll be doing a bunch of probably impromptu recording sessions with folks. We'll probably be going live from time to time with different guests.
Impromptu, like we're just going to stick a mic in their face, start asking.
Yeah, we don't want to warm them. We just want to show up.
We're going to ask
reaching-
them
We're
what
reaching
tiers-
under the stall door.
Yes.
What tiers of
What you
learning
doing in
spaces
there?
do they have?
What tier does this thing you're trying to sell me fit
Which is
in?
your
Go.
favorite tier?
Oh my God.
Next.
All depends. Anyway, so yeah, be a part of that. If you want to come heckle us, be there. It should be a good time. And then, we're going to continue this conversation and more in the hallways there at the CH2M Hill Alumni Center. here
Even
at
if you
Oregon
don't
State
want
University.
it, we'll continue that conversation.
Even if you don't want to have a part of it, we're going to drag you in because we need to hear from you.
So do you want to point out a couple of things? Where's my notes here? I lost my notes. I'm powerless here.
You just have all notes.
Yes, it's all
Things
notes.
Chris never says.
So do want to point out that, and if we've tested it twice, and it seems to be sort of working. We're doing our On Topic show now live every third Friday of the month. So start putting that on your calendar at what time? Roughly at 3:15 ish.
3 to 3:30 ish East Coast. Eastern
Somewhere in the
most.
3 o'clock hour ish.
By the time we get our shit together.
Yes. So we're kind of messing with the format on that one a little bit. We're not messing. We're tightening up the format on that one.
Yeah, we're getting the interns. They're figuring it out. They got a fairly
So
good
we're doing that
script.
live because we can. We'll still publish those if you want to listen to them in your commute. But if you're listening to this right now on your commute, we do the AV Super Friends On Topic live, and you can interact with us on. Larry, remind me which ones come through. Is it Twitter and LinkedIn?
Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. They all.
But which
come
ones?
in.
Which one do we see the comments from?
We see the comments
them all.
from them all. However, if you're not on LinkedIn, you will not see the responses from the other ones.
Okay, so
LinkedIn, it appears to get more.
LinkedIn has two-way communication.
It
The others are
does.
just
Or
one way.
just like we'll post the StreamYard feed, and that gets you everything. And
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, what's that address you can do the live shows at, Justin? Where can people see AVSF live?
avsf.live.
LIVE exclamation point.
Exclamation point.
Don't put the exclamation point in there.
Yeah.
a broken
Don't
link.
actually. That's a bad idea. Don't do that.
Yeah. Take it to Russia.
Maybe.
Totally legit.ru. Don't go there.
All right. What else are we going to
Is that all the stuff or do we need to
We got through
anything
the
else?
laundry list. We got through all of it, but we finished none of it. But we got through it.
Okay.
I don't even know
More
what
to
we
come.
got through.
Riveting.
This show was off the rails. This was a mess.
It definitely was. Kind of, maybe.
But I think there was some substance in
there
there.
was some. Yeah,
There was a lot of
you sure?
content there, but how do you
You let us know if there.
We were all over the place, but there was stuff.
Hey,
there.
wasn't there an earthquake last time on a show in California?
Yeah,
Joe
that
was
that
on
Joe,
one.
yeah.
I think Joe just tweeted there was another earthquake. Just
I'll
an
look at
FYI.
that. There you go. Must be this time.
He's not on the show. Has he been on the show the entire time and just not said anything? Has he
Maybe.
been on mute the whole
Hanging
time?
out in the green room.
Still in there?
Screaming at us about his
Hello?
tears.
He's shaking in his pants over our tears right now,
He's
literally,
just
in
pissed
that
at us, yeah.
earthquake.
Yeah.
I'm not sure shaking in his pants is a saying either.
But it is now.
be.
Cats on mirrors and shaking in pants. I'm not.
You should travel more. I
Another
thought you were
day
a traveler.
with the AV Super Friends.
Yeah. Well, thanks for hanging out with us. That was you're brave.
We're sorry.
That was the show.
All right, sign up for Northwest Met. Well, we've managed to ruin yet another episode of AV Super Friends Off the Rails. You can contact us with questions, topic ideas, or general complaints at mailbag@avsuperfriends.com. If you complain loud enough, we might just invite you on the show.
Nice work, everyone. Sharp broadcast. Really good. Everyone on the floor as well. Really a lot of hustle. I liked it.
The opinions expressed by the AV Super Friends are solely those of the individuals and do not represent their respective institutions, organizations, companies, or clients.